Hello, everyone. For those of you that are watching it as it goes out, and for those on the replay, hello, welcome. Just going to say at the beginning of this, I am basing this on my practice. And for the last few months, I have been very drawn to work with water. However, before you go running to the hills thinking I don't work with water, I also work with the other elements, and this, what I'm going to talk about today, can be adapted for use with any of the elements. And where shall I start? So, our planet, our Mother Earth, is under crisis. God lover, goddess lover. What can I mention? Pollution, for a start. Too many cars on the road, too many aeroplanes, even now, even after lockdown. Use of fossil fuels, basically. Agricultural methods and demands, both with livestock and with grains and the way that they're grown. And that only mentions just a few of the things that our Earth is going through. And people are waking up. I mean, there's that, can't think what it's called now, with Prince William and David Attenborough. Can't think what it is now. It's a book, and but yeah, there are people Prince Charles has been on about the planet for as long as I can remember, but more and more people are waking up to the fact that we need to do things. We need to change the way that we are and behave. And it doesn't just come down to the fact that I'm a witch and I'm doing this. There are people in every walk of life, any denomination, whatever their beliefs. There are people all over the world that are doing it, that are becoming activists, that are writing to their local councils, writing to their MPs, doing whatever they can. And I think an awful lot of us that are within the pagan community probably woke up, I hope most of us woke up, a little bit before a lot of the others. But we're still one person. But that one person, when you think of how many people there are on the earth, that one person, if every one person did one thing, it would make such a difference. And that can be as simple as recycling, using less plastic, sourcing your food locally, being aware of where your food has come from and how it's been produced, not wasting anything. I mean, I can remember as a child, being fed leftovers for days. And that was normal. You'd have your big roast on Sunday, and then you'd have something on Monday, something on Tuesday, maybe even something on Wednesday that was still coming from Sunday. And I've been around long enough to know of a time before fridges too. And freezers for that matter. So yeah, it's what each of us can do from that side. I'm not dictating, I'm waffling, I'm rambling. So go with me, bear with me. Because I am going to come to the point now where I'm going to say, as witches, we have that little extra something that we can do. So along with those physical things that we can do, such as recycling, etc., etc., we work with energy. We're surrounded by energy. Everything is energy. Everything around us, we're energy. And that's what we use when we're making our spells. So along with what we do physically, we can do spells. Now, not everyone is going to be able to do this the way I do it, which is go to my little local river, because they haven't got transport or they're disabled, any number of reasons. It doesn't matter. What the suggestions that I'm going to give today, you can do if you can get to a body of water, but you can just as easily do it sitting in front of your altar. at home. You do not need to actually physically go anywhere. And especially, you don't need to drive miles. Because as I said, this is all about the environment, whether it's earth, air, fire, water, spirit, doesn't matter. This is all about our environment. So if you haven't got a body of water near you that you can walk to, or that you can get a bus to, or cycle to, it doesn't matter. You can do this, as I said, at home, just sitting in front of your water. So the first thing you need to do is actually find out if you've got any water near you. So if you've wandered around your locality, you probably know that there is a stream somewhere. I'm very lucky in that mine's literally about 30 yards over in that direction. If you live by the sea, you're even more lucky because, you've got a huge, great expanse just sitting there for you. But yeah, look it up on a map. If you are disabled, or if you live in an inner city where you don't know where the nearest canal, river, pond, fountain, although they're man-made, they're still water. And I know a lot of it is recycled, but it does get put back into the main system at some stage. So yeah, fountain. If you live in a city, fountain, pond, whatever you've got close to you. Look it up on a map. And then, either physically or visualizing, you are going to take yourself to that water. And the only thing to begin with that you are going to take with you is a bag to pick up rubbish with. And I would suggest some rug gloves if you've got them. If not, one of those things that you can squeeze and pick stuff up with. Because what you've got to do to begin with is spend time with this water and the spirits that live there. It's just like any new relationship. You're just meeting somebody for the first time. Even if you've been to this place many times before, especially a beach, if you live near a beach. This time you're going with the specific reason of building a relationship. So you take it as your first time. And it's not complicated, because all you're going to do is sit, if you can, or stand, ground yourself, take a few deep, slow breaths. And then you're going to introduce yourself. And then you're going to listen. That is the real nugget. You are going to introduce yourself, and then you are going to be silent. And you're going to listen. Don't be surprised if the first 1, 2, 3, 4 times, maybe, of going there to do this, you don't get an answer. You can then carry on, whether you get an answer or not, carry on and explain why have you come there? You've come there because you want to offer some healing. And again, stop, listen. All right? It's the listening that's so important. They may, as I say, they may not be responsive the first few times you go. And let's face it, who can blame them? Because as human beings, we have rather trashed our poor Mother Earth. And they'll want to see how you behave. They're quite used to people turning up on a trip, doing whatever, and then going again. Spirit's used to that. They're going to see whether you come back and whether you repeat what we've just done. Introducing yourself. You explain why you've come. And listening after each of those. Now, whether you get an answer or not, once you've spent some time there and you feel that it's right, and it's just a feeling. The first couple of times, it was just a feeling of, yeah, okay, we've seen you, we've heard you, you can go. And then gradually it changed into, oh, you're back. Okay, that's good. Into what it's becoming now, which is much more of a conversation, if you like. But every single time I've gone, right from that very first time, I've always taken that rubbish bag, because I found that finishing each of those visits by picking up a bit of rubbish is appreciated by those local spirits. So it's a good idea just to do it, whether you get your answer or not. Once you've formed that initial relationship, the spirits will tell you what they would like from you. And I put it that way because as humans, we have this tendency to rush in with our own ideas of what we can do and what we should do and what other things would like us to do. However, what we think and what the local energies want can be very, very different things. So during your conversations, as they become more fluent, you can say that you would like to work a spell for healing for them, but wait, again, for their agreement. Wait for that. Yeah, all right, we'll see what you get up to. They may never give it. They may say, actually, we just want you to keep coming and visiting and tidying up because of all the other idiots that are dropping litter. They might give you the wording for a letter to the local council about something. Perhaps you'll suddenly see repeated information about an environmental group or something else in your local area. Don't just do the spell, is what I'm saying, or a spell, because that's rude. You know, you wouldn't go into somebody's house and start doing things until they invited you to. And that's basically what you're doing. You are going into that spirit's environment, so you wait for them to say it's okay. Now, those of you that know me know that I don't like to complicate things. So what I have found works well with the spirits that I work with is to keep things very simple. And again, you can do it by the water, or you can do it at home and just visualize, because it's that link of connection. It's the energy connection that you're doing. So if you already work with energy, such as Reiki, you can empower things with the symbols. So you can empower them with your blessing with the symbols. You can also use runes, if you use runes. Or if you don't do any of that, you can just use the alchemical glyph for water, which is a downward pointing triangle. And you can either draw it. So if you're holding something, you can just draw it over the top. Or if you're kneeling down, sitting down, and you've got something in front of you, you can literally just hold your hands like that. So you've got a triangle and just hold that over. And then you can just visualize healing energy going into, and I'll come to what in a minute, but yeah. So yeah, you can use symbols to help empower what you're doing. So say you've gone to your local body of water and you've got your plastic bag, or your bag to pick up your rubbish, and you've started your conversation and they've said to you, yeah, okay, we'll let you do a spell. And you have nothing with you other than your bag for your rubbish. It's not a problem, because you get them involved. You say, okay, you're happy for me to do a spell? Okay. What would you like me to do? And what I have found is that I'll be standing and all of a sudden a pebble, which has obviously been there for ever, will suddenly gleam, stand out, whatever. And I'll think, oh, I can use that pebble, and I'll get an affirmative. So I'll reach down and I will pick up the pebble. Sometimes it's actually in the water. Sometimes it's just on the edge of the water. But it's obviously been there for a while, but they're happy for me to use that pebble. Pick up your pebble, hold it, and you can just visualize it filling with pure white energy. You can feel it drawing down through you, through into your hands. You could say a blessing for the water, You can chant a blessing for the water. Lady of water, flow through me. Rivers flow oceans, blessed be. I'm not a singer, you may have noticed, but they don't seem to mind when I do this. You could say a little prayer blessing. With healing hands and sacred speech, I bless the waters, ocean, rivers, and beach. Heal our precious waters to flow. My will be done, it is so. Doesn't have to be complicated. Then if you know the Reiki symbols, you can empower your stone with those, or you can use a rune, or you can just use the alchemical glyph, the downward pointing triangle. Once you're happy that your pebble is full of the blessing, you simply place it back where you got it from and say thank you for allowing me to do my spell. The water is going to flow over that pebble. It's going to take your blessing with it as it carries on its journey. So there's one simple, very impromptu, I haven't got anything, but you've allowed me to do this. What would you like me to do? And as I say, with me, it's usually a pebble. It may be something else for you, but yeah. And as I said right at the beginning, you can use this formula method for any of the elements. So say you've been told that you know that your spirits are happy for you. I keep looking over there because that's where they are. They're happy for you to do spells, blessing spells for the water around them. So you've done your pebble, and then as you're leaving, you say, so can I do another one next time? And you usually get an affirmative. So the next time you can go prepared. And that is so lovely. And again, this is really not complicated. See that little jar? Most of us have these. They're those nice little jars that you get when you have a cream tea. And you're going to take an empty jar to your water. You're going to have your conversation. You don't just get straight on and do the spell. You have your conversation first. And then you say, it's right if I do my blessing spell now. I've never been told no. Once I've been given the go-ahead to do the spells, I've never been told no. So hopefully you'll get the same experience. And then what I will do is I will obviously take the lid off my jar, and then I will just hold it in the water. I don't like holding it into the flow because I don't want to trap any of the spirits in it. So I actually hold it so that the bottom is against the flow, and it just fills with the water as it comes around so that the spirits flow around it and don't get trapped into my jar. Now I asked them, because I told them I was doing this, so I said to them, can I actually take this little bit home? It's just over there. They know where I live. And I'll bring it back later. And they said, yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't normally. I know there are some water priestesses and water witches who do advocate taking some of the water back home, but then they actually put it on their altar, and for a month or for 9 days or for some other specified period of time, they will actually have it on their altar, and every day they will empower it, they will bless it, they will add cleansing to it, and then they will take it back. So they do eventually take it back. I suggested that to my locals, and they didn't seem that keen on that idea. As I say, I asked permission to bring this with me this afternoon, and I had to really explain why, because obviously talking about recording this, they hadn't a clue. But when I said it was to give an idea to more people to do what I do, that made sense to them. So yes, so the deal is that I use this to show you, and then I take it straight back, which I will do. That's the other thing. You have to do the right thing, and you have to do it straight away, because otherwise they lose trust. So again, you're going to get your jar of water, and obviously you won't have the lid. And you can do your Reiki symbols, you can do a rune symbol, you could do your glyph, you can do all of them. It's up to you. But what you're doing is seeing that cleansing, that blessing energy flowing into this little bit of water. Because like I said, we may only be one, but we make up an awful lot of numbers. And the same with water. A few drops of water. Just imagine where it's been, where it's going. Its journey is just, fantastic. So it doesn't have to be a gallon. It can just be that amount. You don't need lots. You can, I'm not going to sing again, don't worry. You can say your blessings, chant your blessings, do what you feel you need to do. With healing hands and sacred speech, I bless the waters, ocean, river, and beach. Heal our precious waters to flow. It is my will. It is so. And then you just gently pour it back in to where you got it from. That's it. That's as simple as it can be. I have found, and I'm only speaking from my own experience, that they don't particularly like a lot of ostentatious stuff. You don't even have to do any of that. Make up a chant and sing it to your body of water. Just go have a conversation, listen, and then say, I've made up a chant. Would you like to hear it? Most of the time they say, oh yeah. If you've got a drum and you drum, take your drum. They love that. The more time you spend with the element you choose to work with, the more enjoyment you'll feel from it and from the spirits. So basically, go and have some fun and make some new friends. I hope this has been useful. Please leave comments afterwards. And let me know how you get on with making new friends out with those elemental spirits.